All right, folks, welcome to the final video lesson of this module, where we are going to be discussing the universal mind. So, lesson objectives, pretty simple today. What is the universal mind? So let's get into it, shall we? All right, the universal mind is the source or common origin from which spring all manifestation. If there is life, there must of necessity be a source of life. This was written by, or an excerpt from Key to Yourself by Dr. Venice J. Bloodworth. And I especially love the second part where she expresses that if there is life, there must of necessity be a source of life. So, with that being said, we come from ultimately a source, and many people have called this source, this divine energy, if you will, by so many different names. Source, God being one of the most popular, or you can even just refer to it as a higher intelligence. Religion, pretty much, you don't have to be religious to understand that there is something greater than you that in so many ways, shapes, or form has brought this into fruition. This brings me to the next slide, which pretty much just seals what I just mentioned. The idea of a universal mind describes an energy field, a life force that permeates all of creation. The philosophers who supported the concept of a universal mind, including the Greek pre-Socratic thinker Anaxagoras and the German philosopher Hegel, wrote that the universal mind contained all reality and thought, all knowledge that has ever existed or will ever exist lies within the universal mind. Ancient philosophies and religions often understood this consciousness as God, Allah, Shiv, Brahman, etc. Baha'is, however, see this source as the all-knowing, all-powerful, and loving series of God's messengers, ever present throughout history and in our lives. The Universal Mind in You, Baha'iTeachings.org. So essentially, our subconscious mind, our conscious mind, everything that animates us is essentially connected to this higher intelligence, whatever name or title fits well within you. The point is that we all have access to it and we can all plug into this. And with that, there lies so many benefits of that, so much power in surrendering, in a sense, to this greater source of just of everything. So that pretty much concludes this particular series. I do have resources attached to this video lesson, sort of bonus materials, if you will, in terms of how one can even plug in to this greater intelligence, this higher intelligence, and just those type of steps. And a few just sort of like helping worksheets that can just sort of help build your connection, your personal individual connection. But just really note that we all have this connection with this divine supreme source. And as I mentioned earlier on, religion doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with this process. Essentially, though, if you do take it from a religious standpoint, that's fine as well too. But pretty much, I say that religion doesn't necessarily have to be a main component of it to open up just how powerful, how expansive this presence is, and how everyone, not just the chosen few or selected, has access to this divine presence. Just as if you were, for instance, one of the 12 steps of AA is pretty much surrendering to something more powerful than yourself. And many atheists have also been successful in helping to manage their addictions and alcoholism with AA without necessarily, subscribing to one religion or belief. So that's why I express that so many times, not to down anyone who, has a religious practice. I feel like that's also just as good too, just to help create this connection. I feel like we all need to find our ways to create a connection with this source that we all have access to. So, yes, that concludes Module 1, the power of thought. And I look forward to seeing you in the next module, the power of belief. If you only got this module, for instance, that's also great. There is an extensive amount of bonus material and just supplemental material that you also have access to with even just this first module. So take care and have a good one.